Hello there, and welcome to the Potent Puffin podcast. I'm your host, Jake Thomas. Now, this week is kind of a little unorganized. I've had a pretty long week. Haven't had time to make anything dedicated for this episode, so I'm just gonna kind of talk about my week and just see where things go with this episode. So it's been a pretty long week for me, but it's been good. Started the week off. Got a job offer from one of the local banks, so I'll be starting that here soon, and that's good. Getting back into the workforce. Also been having a lot of medical um, visits with my wife this week. She's had to go to the doctor a couple times. Not going to go into detail about that just out of respect for her, and we're still waiting to hear back from lab results to see exactly what's going on. But that's been the bulk of this week. Um, my kid this week he's been keeping things interesting. Earlier in the week, my mother-in-law was watching some kind of paranormal show on TV, and I was watching it with her, and she fell asleep. And so Calson, he is intrigued by those paranormal shows. I don't know why. He's always loved like Halloween and like Halloween stuff, and so I guess it shouldn't be too big of a surprise. But this episode was pretty interesting because they were talking about everything, well, not everything, but a lot of paranormal stuff in Louisiana, such as they spent a lot of time talking about Rougarous. I'm not sure if you're familiar with what a Rougarou is, but it's like a swamp werewolf. And then they talked about one of my favorite urban legends, the Honey Island swamp monster, which it's kind of like Bigfoot, but it's also not because one of the ways it came about, one of the legends behind it is a circus train crashed and the monkeys escaped and mated with the local alligator population, and that is what the Honey Island swamp monster potentially is. That's pretty interesting. And then they also, of course, talked about vampires in New Orleans, which is a pretty popular topic. But I found it interesting because over the course of the next few days, my kid's been like, "Dad, there's a Rougarou here." I'm like, "Calson, we're in Alaska. There is no Rougarou." And then like I kind of use it the first like day or two to like get him to calm down and behave. I did the whole, "Hey, if you don't behave, the Rougarou's gonna get you," and that worked for like the first night. And then the next day, he's like, "The Rougarou's my friend," and he's now apparently has this imaginary Rougarou friend that hangs out around the house. And yeah, my wife doesn't like that. She thinks it's a little creepy because he's always kind of done that. He's had these imaginary like monster friends, such as his happy monster that keeps the bad monsters away. Um, and she freaks out because she's big into the whole kids can see things adults can't, and so it kind of makes her think that there might be something going on with our house, but who knows? I don't. So that's been interesting because apparently there's two Rougarous around here. There's a red one and a brown one. The red one's his friend, and the brown one's bad. I'm not too sure. I have to get the little toddler to explain it to me again. But yeah, that's kind of what's been going on around the house lately. Uh, just Callison being intrigued with these Rougarous, which I find interesting that he's in Alaska and he's going into these old Louisiana urban legends. And yeah, that's just interesting. Um, Another thing is, man, this kid is into the disc golf, which I am stoked with because I just picked that back up back in just last month when I was in Arkansas. I got back into the disc golf. I played it, pretty regularly for about a year. When I first joined the Coast Guard, we were dry docked in San Francisco, and I started playing then. And then there's a course here in Kodiak on the Coast Guard base, and I would play it with a couple guys, once or twice a week. But then when I went to Hawaii, I kind of fell off of it just because, I was too busy doing, the typical Hawaii things, going to the beach and, you know, being underway a lot. Since I was on a buoy tender, we got underway quite a bit, but not for long periods of time. And then when I came back to Kodiak, they had removed the disc golf course on base. And so naturally, I just really fell out of it. And then when I was in Arkansas last month, I found some used disc at a comic book store of all places. And so I picked them up and started playing again. The There's a city park not far from where my parents live, and it's at a lake that we used to go to a lot. So they put in a disc golf course there, so that was cool because that one was free and it was really close, so I could go play it, multiple times a day while I was there. But also a old golf course, Persimmon Ridge. It used to be a golf course, and my uncle actually bought property um, along the golf course. But then that business went under, and the golf course closed, and a lot of the property owners, including my uncle, sold their property. And well, a few years ago, someone else bought that property. They bought the golf course for the intentions of hosting like weddings and that type of events. But then they also put in a disc golf course. So I was just like, hey, man, this is cool. I'll go play this disc golf course. And so I was playing there like twice a week, and then the course at the city park, I was playing every day, at least once, if not 2 or 3 times a day. And so I come back to Kodiak, and I learned that a couple years ago they'd actually put the disc golf course up somewhere else, and it's actually off base, so anyone can play it, and it's free. So I've been doing that with Callison a lot. He really enjoys it. He loves it because he can just run around and just get all his energy burned, and it's great. Because usually when we go play, he usually sleeps pretty good those nights. And so, anyways, I took Callison out there a couple days ago, and it was good. He ran around. He was excited. He sees the bag of disc, and he picks them up, and he's like, Daddy, let's go play frisbees. Let's throw frisbees at the baskets. I'm like, yeah, that's what we're doing. And of course, my favorite disc that I like to use is, apparently he's adopted that one as his, so I don't ever get to throw it because he's always using it. But that's fine, because I got plenty that I can use. And so that's cool. I really love that he's enjoying things that I enjoy as well. So we can get out and do things just me and him, and let my wife get rest while she's having her medical flare up right now. And then it is nice because the course, it's also right next to like 2 playgrounds, so it's like we play 9 holes, and then he plays on the playground, then we play through again, and then he plays on the playground again, and he just really gets his energy built up. And so we're out there, and there's this like little rock wall that the kids can climb on, and it was like covered in like mosquitoes. And Calison's looking at it. He climbs it, and he notices all these mosquitoes just like laying up on it. And he's like, "Daddy, there are spiders all over this thing." I was like, "Really? Just knock them off." And I go over and look, and I was like, "Those aren't spiders, and it's just like these giant mosquitoes." Just really crazy. But it's just interesting how he just sees something with multiple legs, and he instantly just starts calling it a spider. Which he has this little toy spider that he's carrying around a lot lately. Um, I think my mother-in-law bought it for him the other night. She took him to the store while me and Brandy went to one of her doctor's appointments, and they came back with the toy spider. But it has a little glow stick in the back of it, so like where like the web would come out, it glows, and it has this little string on it. So I took it the other day, and I had it, and I was like jiggling it so it looked like I was like walking it on a leash across the floor. Um, he was like entranced at it doing that. He's like, "How are you doing that, Dad?" How? And then like I made it like jump on him, and he kind of like jumped back, and then he like just grabbed it and started petting it. So yeah, this kid has like no fear of things like that. It's crazy. So you know, it's just been it's been one of those weeks where there's been a lot going on. Um, it's been a little hectic, but there's been good stuff too. So, you know, it's been overall. I say it's been a good week. Looking forward to next week, starting a new job. Um, you know, having a little bit of stress taken away from because I'm not gonna have to be worrying about income now. I know there's gonna be money coming in, so that's good. That's a little bit less stress to have to worry about. Um, and that's really most of what's gone on this week. Um, one other thing that happened is when I was in Arkansas, me and my brother went to this one disc golf store, and I found a disc that had the Death Star on it. And so naturally, I had to buy it. I was like, "This is too cool." I bought it, and when I got home, Brandy's like, "What are you even gonna do with that?" I was like, "I'm gonna hang it on the wall." She's like, "Where?" I was like, "I was gonna put it in Calson's room. You know, it'd be cool." And she's like, "No, you're not putting it in his room." I'm like, "Okay, well then I'll hang it in our room." She's like, "No." I was like, "So you want me to hang it in the living room?" She's like, "No, you're definitely not doing that." And so it kind of just sat on a shelf the first like 2 weeks I was here, and then I just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it, and I hung it in the living room above um my 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 reclining chair, and I just left it. And I was like, I want to see how long it takes for her to notice it. And about a week and a half goes by after hanging this, and she hasn't said a word about it. I'm like, I can't believe she hasn't noticed it, or if she has, she hasn't said anything. And well, we're sitting in the living room, uh, watching a movie, um, a couple nights ago, and Calson, he's climbing up on top of me because he doesn't let me sit. If I'm sitting in that chair, he's gonna be climbing on me. And well, this night he noticed it, and he was like, "Star Wars frisbee." I'm like, "Yeah, kid." I'm like, "Now hush it before your mom notices what you just said." And he's just even louder. He's like, "Star Wars frisbee." And he's like climbed on top of the chair, and he's like trying to get it down because he wants to go throw it, which I can't let him have frisbees at the house because he'll like on purpose he'll go outside and throw it over the fence. Like I don't know why, but that's his natural instinct to just go throw frisbees over the disc, over the fence. So I don't know why he does that. He just does. So I'm just there like, Calson, knock it off before your mom notices it. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I saw that like a week or two ago." I'm like, "Oh, so you really didn't mind it being up there? Okay, just took the fun out of waiting to see what you do when you found it. Though I don't think she really noticed it. I think she's just trying to play it off like she did. But yeah, that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please, give me a follow on Instagram, Twitter, interact with me. Check out my YouTube. It's the same podcast, just, I got the Sharpie art going. If you're into that, check it out. Follow the channel. It's all under Potent Puffin, and keep it cool, y'all. Check y'all next week.